Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Let's start chapter 5 of D2. And this chapter is regarding quadratic equations. In the previous chapters, we have dealt with quadratic expressions. So when I say quadratic expressions, what we were doing was like ax square plus bx plus c. So it's a quadratic expression. What we have done with it, we have factorized it using midterm breaking method. We have factorized it using identities. Okay. Now, if I add equality to this, it becomes equation. So that's the difference between expression and the equation. In equation, we have this equality, and this is equal to 0. Now, in factorization, what we were having, since it's a quadratic equation, it's an equation of degree 2, so when we were factorizing it, we always used to get 2 factors, right? Because of this 2 power. Now, it's a quadratic equation, so what are we going to get? What we are going to get is 2 values for a variable, and the variable we have, it's a single variable, right? X square and x, one variable. So we are going to get 2 values for this variable. So let's take some examples from the book, and it will help us understand better what the quadratic equations are. So let's do that. So the first example, x square minus 17x plus 10 equals 0. Okay, now as we have done before in the previous chapter, we have to factorize it and factorize using midterm breaking method. But what's going to happen? After we have the factors, we have this equality sign too. So let's see what happens. So for the factorization, the coefficient of x is 3 and this is 10. So 3 into 10 is 30. Okay, and here we have minus 17. So what we need to have is that we need 2 factors. That when we multiply those 2 factors, we are going to have 30, positive 30. And when we add them, we are going to have minus 17, right? So the 2 factors, if I take the 2 factors, 15, minus 15 and minus 2. So when I multiply them, I'm going to get minus into minus becomes positive, and I'm going to get 30. And when I add them, minus minus is plus, right? So I get minus 17. So 3x square minus 15x minus 2x plus 10 equals 0. Okay? So 3 is the common, 3x is the common. So x minus 5 minus 2, x minus 5 equals 0. So x minus 5 into 3x minus 2 equals 0. So you see, these are the factors which we used to have previously in the previous chapters. So we have these 2 factors now, but we have this equality also. So with this equality, what's going to happen? This is going to be x minus 5 equals 0 and 3x minus 2 equals 0. Because either we have these 2 factors, this is equal to 0 and this is equal to 0. Both can be equal to 0, right? So if this is equal to 0, x is equal to 5. And if this is equal to 0, x is equal to 2 over 3. So we have 2 values for our variable x. Either it could be 5 or it could be 2 over 3, right? So let's do some more examples, and let's take some word problems so to understand more about these quadratic equations. Okay. Okay, now the problem we have is two consecutive positive numbers. So, two consecutive positive numbers are said that the sum of their squares is 113. Find the numbers. So the first thing is consecutive. So by consecutive, what is meant is that if the first number is 3, the next number is going to be 4. If the first number is 7, the next number is going to be 8. Right? So let's suppose if the first number is x, and what could be the next number? If the first is 3, the next is 4. So it means that just one ahead of the first number. So if the first number is x, the second will be x plus 1, one ahead of the second number. The second condition is sum of their squares. So x square plus x plus 1 square equals 113. Now square, x square, sorry, and then applying identity on this. If you remember, we have an identity, a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So x square plus 2x plus 1 equals 113. So it's equal to 113. It's better to have the number on the left hand side because it's an equation, and if you remember, if you do something on the left hand side, you have to do it on the right hand side too. So I'm taking the number to the left hand side. So I'm going to add these two, 2x square plus 2x and then minus 112 equals 0. Okay. Again, now we have this quadratic equation now. We can go for midterm breaking, but before we go for the midterm breaking, why to go for the big numbers? If there is something common, let's get rid of that common. So 2 is the common, so x square plus x minus 56 equals 0. Now, since it's equal to 0, if we take something common, it's gone forever. We don't need that common now because it is equal to 0, right? So we have this quadratic equation now, and the coefficient of x square is 1. This is minus 56. So when we multiply, what we need is minus 56, and when we add, we need 1. So what could be the two factors? Simple. It's minus 8 and plus 7. When you multiply them, you get minus 56. When you add them, sorry, I made a mistake. It's plus and minus, right? When you multiply 8 and minus 7, you get minus 56, and when you add them, you get positive 1. Okay? X square plus 8x minus 7x minus 56 equals 0. So x is common, x plus 8, minus 7 is common, x plus 8 equals 0. So what we have here, x plus 8 into x minus 7 is equal to 0. So x plus 8 is equal to 0 and x minus 7 is equal to 0. So what we have here, when x plus 8 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to minus 8. And when x minus 7 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 7. So we have two values. We can have two values for, if we have this quadratic equation, we are going to have two values, which is x is equal to minus 8 and x is equal to 7. But which value should we take? It says that positive. The number has to be positive. So we cannot take minus 8, because if one number is negative, the other is going to be negative too, or because they are the consecutive numbers. So we cannot take minus 8, so we're going to take 7. So the first number is 7, the second number is 8. When you multiply them, so we have to check whether it's correct or not. So 49 plus 64 because sum of their square, the square is 49 and the square is 64, and their sum is 113. Correct. So we have done it correctly. Let's take one more example, and then we'll see how the things are going on. Okay, the next problem we have is the perimeter of a rectangle. The given condition, the perimeter of a rectangle is 20 centimeters, the area of the rectangle is 24 centimeters. We have to find the length and the breadth. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's have a figure. This is our rectangle. Okay, now since we don't know what is the length and the breadth, so it's a simple thing. When we don't know, we take variables. So suppose x is the length of a rectangle, x centimeters. If this is x, this is also going to be x cm. Now if the length is x, what's going to be the breadth? For that we have perimeter is equals 20 cm, right? And the perimeter of the rectangle is sum of all sides, right? So we have these two sides, and when we subtract the sum of these two sides from the total, what is left? The sum of the breadths, two breadths, right? So this is the total sum of all four sides. What I am going to do, I am going to subtract the sum of the two lengths. I'll be left with sum of two breadths. So 20 minus x plus x, which is 2x. This is sum of two breadths. Okay? This was the total sum of all sides. I subtracted the length from it, and what is left? Sum of two breadths. So what will be the breadth? So breadth will be, because this is sum of two breadths, so what I am going to do, 20 minus 2x divided by 2, which is equivalent to 10 minus x. Okay, so it is 10 minus x cm. If this is 10 minus x, this is also 10 minus x. Now we have length and the breadth. Also given is area is 24 cm square. So we have two sides. Okay, x into 10 minus x is equal to the area is given, which is 24. So 10x minus x square is equal to 24. So rearrange everything and let's have our quadratic equation in the proper form. What I am going to do is I am going to take these two on the other side so that the x square is positive. When x square is positive, it felt easy that to solve it. So taking both on the other side, so x square minus 10x plus 24 is equal to 0. When it goes to this side, it becomes positive, and when it goes to the other side, it becomes negative. So what we have to do now, this coefficient is 1, this is 24. I need a factors. When multiplied, I get 24, and when I add them, I get minus 10, right? So what am I going to do? So if the two factors are x square minus 6x minus 4x, you see, when I add both, I get minus 10x, and when I multiply minus 6 into minus 4, it becomes positive 24. So pretty easy. X is common. X minus 6 minus 4, x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x minus 6 into x minus 4 is equal to 0. So when x minus 6 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 6, and when x minus 4 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 4. So either x can be 6 or x can be 4. So let's suppose if x is 6, right? This is 6. What is this? 10 minus x is 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay? And when you take 4, it will be 6. So you can take any value, and we have the two values now. So 6 into 4 is 24, correct? And 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 plus 8 is 20. So we have correctly solved this quadratic equation. So hope you got idea of what are the quadratic equations and how we solve them. And when we are solving it, we are actually getting the two values for our variable. And depending on the condition, sometimes both values are valid, sometimes one value is valid. So hope you got the idea. So thank you very much for now. And the next session we'll do some graphs of the quadratic equations. Thank you.